Good morning, this is Nicholas from Gandora Gaming, and we have 5 brand new Monarch cards revealed out of the brand new set, Duelist Advance. And I'm really excited about this. If you don't know, Monarchs is one of the original archetypes in the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, and basically Monarchs is a tribute-based archetype. They've been multiple times throughout multiple formats. Their most recent meta relevancy was all the way back in like 2015, 2016 when Monarchs got their structure deck, and they're actually a really good competitive deck. But then they got gutted on the ban list, and then by the time they got all their cards back, which was like, I think like a year or two ago, and they were just too outdated. It's a tribute-based archetype that revolves around just tributes, and as we know, Yu-Gi-Oh is a little too fast for that. So yeah, this deck needs a lot of love, and here we are. So let's get straight into this. So first things first, we have a new Monarch has risen to shake up the status quo of Monarch business, which if you don't know, Monarchs are kind of like business. Also, they're also like the rulers. Like I know DDDs, for example, they're also like different dimension demons, but they're also like a business hierarchy or some shit like that. I think this is the same thing to shake up the status quo of Monarch business. So let's see how this goes. So this is Edios, the Underworld Monarch. It's level 6 Dark Spellcaster, effect monster, 2400 attack, 1000 defense. You can only use the first, second, and third effect of this card's name once per turn. So first things first, I want to say this is the adult version of Edios, the baby Monarch. So if you don't know, there's 3 different kinds of Monarchs. There's the little babies, then there's the ones that are 2400 attack to 1000 defense, and then there's also the bigger Monarchs, which are like the 2800 to 1000 defense, and then there's even a bigger Monarch, which are like the Mega Monarchs, which is like Mega Stormform, which was found in Flew Under Ease, if you remember that card. But yeah, let's get straight into this. So first things first, it just costs no more spell summon. You can add one Monarch spell for or spell a trap, or a monster with 2800 attack or 1000 defense from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So that's already really good. On the summon, this card will add you a spell, a trap, or a monster with 2800 attack and 1000 defense, which most of the Monarchs have that stat, which is really good. Not all of them, but most of them. And it's adding from deck or grave. So if you already have a rotation, that's fine. You can add back from grave as well. Really good card. For second effect, you can declare one attribute. One face-up monster on the field becomes that attribute. And you're probably wondering, why does that matter? Well, for the Mega Monarchs, they get bonus effects if you declare multiple of the same attributes. So like Mega, what's it called? Mega Rhizia, which was the Wind Monarch. If you tribute 2 wins, you get like a bonus removal or something like that. Same thing with Mega, all the other Mega Monarchs. So this thing declaring an attribute and that monster becoming that attribute does matter in those circumstances, which is really good. And since you can declare any monster on the field become that attribute, that means when you Stormforth them, you can make that monster the attribute you need to actually tribute their monster in order to get the bonus effect, which is really cool. And then finally, if you tribute summon a monster with 2400 attack and 1000 defense, while this card's in your graveyard, either add this card to your hand or spell summon it. That's really good because it basically says, hey, well, I'm in the graveyard. I am just a free extender. As soon as you make a tribute summon for a monster with 2400 attack and 1000 defense, I will spell summon myself, and then I will then search again because on normal special, I'll add a Monarch spell trap or a monster with 2800 attack and 1000 defense. Already a really good card. I don't know how many copies will play this card, but it's already really good. Next card, we have Tempera, the Primal Squire. This is the other baby Monarch grown up, which is a light one, even though its armor is dark. This is a level 1 light warrior effect monster, 800 attack, 1000 defense. It looks like as the other guy grew up, this one didn't. It's still weenie. You can only use the first and second effect, and the third effect this card name once per turn. You can reveal one Monarch spell or trap in your hand. Spells to this card from your hand. During the main phase, immediately after this card resolves, tribute summon one monster. If this card is sent to graveyard, spell summon one monster with 800 defense, attack and 1000 defense from your deck. Also, you can't spell summon extra deck for the rest of the turn. That's perfectly fine. That extra deck lock does not matter. Monarchs specialize with having no cards in their extra deck. They get like their field spells like a floodgate, and they're like continuous Monarchs Erupt is a floodgate if you control no monsters in your extra deck. So locking on the extra deck is no big deal. This card does spell summon a level 800 attack monster from deck, which means you can summon out one of the baby Monarchs from deck, which will be like the original Eidos or the original Torera, which is really, really cool, allowing you to just keep going. Not to mention, this card just has to reveal a Monarch spell trap to spell summon itself. I will say if your hand's full of Monarchs, this card is dead in that regard, which you do need to keep that in mind. You do have to only normal summon it. But it is during the main phase, immediately after this card effect resolves, tribute summon. So I guess you go reveal a Monarch spell trap, spell summon me, then immediately after this resolves, tribute summon a monster in your hand. And then when it's sent to grave, you spell summon at the 800 attack 1000 defense, and then that one triggers as well. Not bad. Next we have Schemes of the Monarch. It's a spell card. You can only use the second event this card name once per turn. Let's see. You can send one Monarch spell trap for your deck to graveyard, except Schemes of the Monarch. This card's this is Foolish Burial. You send one Monarch spell trap for your deck to graveyard, except itself. Not bad. So it's Foolish Burial for spells and traps. All the Monarch spells and traps have benefits in grave. If this card becomes banished, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Add one monster with 2400 attack and 1000 defense with the same attribute from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Then immediately after this resolves, no summon one Zaborg the Thunder Monarch, Zaborg the Frost Monarch, Festios the Fire Monarch, the Gambling Rock Monarch, Raziel the Storm Monarch, or Cassius the Shadow Monarch. Oh, that's crazy. So basically what this card's saying is that, hey, you can just use this second effect to normal summon out any of the Monarchs, which is pretty cool. If you don't know, Zaborg the Thunder Monarch is an insane Monarch, but it revolves around the extra deck. Basically, when it's summoned, you can send cards from either player's extra deck to grave in order to get like a bonus effect. And it's kind of crazy. Zaborg the Mega Monarch is one of my favorite Monarchs of all time. Mobius pops spells and traps. Festios, I think, like rips cards in your opponent's hand and burns you. I have no idea what the Rock Monarch does. Raziel, the Storm Monarch, we already talked about. He's the one that is the Wind Monarch who bounces cards back to the deck. And then Cassius, the Shadow Monarch, banishes cards, which is really, really cool. So this basically says, hey, if this card gets banished because of a Monarch effect, you can add a Monarch with 2400 attack and 1000 defense with the same attribute as a card on the field, then just normal summon it for free. Really great card. Next, we have Rebellion of the Monarchs. Normal spell card. You know, use first and second effect this card once a turn. You discard one card. You can't spell summon the rest of the turn. Also, reveal 3 monsters of 800 or 2400 or more attack and defense from your deck. Your opponent chooses one, add to hand, send the rest to grave. You'll banish this card from graveyard, spell summon one monster with 800 attack and 1000 defense from your hand. Interesting card again. A lot of the Monarch spells have the ability to reveal multiples at hand. And then you choose one, the others stay in deck. That actually might be a Cosmo thing too. For example, I know Monarch Tenacity, reveal 3 spells. Then you get to add one, but if you reveal 3 of the same spell, you guarantee get it. That's pretty cool. Next, in our final card, we have Accumulation of the Monarchs. This is a continuous trap. You can only use when your opponent spells summons a monster and you control a tribute summon monster. Banish one Monarch spell trap from your graveyard to activate these effects, but you can only use each of these effects once per turn. Destroy one monster on the field. Destroy up to 2 spell traps on the field. Discard one random card from your opponent's hand. Destroy one set card. Place one card on the field to the top of the deck. Place one card on banish one card on the field. So, if you don't know, these are all the effects of those Monarchs we just discussed. So, place one card on the field to the top of the deck. That is the Wind Monarch. Banish one card on the field. That is the lovely, lovely Dark Monarch. I guess destroy one set card is the Earth Monarch. So, remember I told you I did not know what the Rock Monarch does. I guess it destroys set cards. Destroy 2 spells and traps on the field. That's the Water Monarch. Discard one card from your opponent's hand. That's the Fire Monarch. And then destroy one card on your opponent's field. That has to be the Thunder Monarch. So, yeah, really, really good cards. I don't know if it's enough to make Monarchs playable again, but it is still pretty cool. If you are a Monarch fan, good for you. Hopefully these cards make you happy, but we'll just have to see. It's really hard to make the tribute summon archetype good again, but who knows? Anyway, hope you all enjoy. Don't do anything stupid. See you next one, and bye-bye.